Hello, hello, ladies. Welcome to day 9. We are on our last day of our 9-day class. We made it. You made it. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so happy that you have all chosen to join me on this journey. You have chosen to be here on the last day, on day 9 of our 9-day class. Whew! We did it, ladies. You're here. You did it. And you have kept your word. You've kept your promise that you promised on day 1, that you are going to show up on day 9 in the same way that you showed up on day 1, excited, motivated, energetic, curious, and dedicated to you. And here you are on day 9. Last time, come on in and say hello. Say hello in the comments. Say if you're where you're watching from, if you're not in Cairo. I know most of you are in Cairo. And let's get started with day 9. It has been an incredible journey for me. I always have so much fun with these classes. I love nothing more than connecting with all the ladies who join the class. I love nothing more than being able to shine a light on information that you might not be hearing anywhere else, on information you not be getting anywhere else. This is what lights me up. This is my life's passion. So I have truly enjoyed these 9 days with you. We do have our bonus class tomorrow. So today's the last day of the 9-day Balance Your Hormones class. Tomorrow is our bonus class on how to overcome emotional eating, which is such an important piece of this whole health puzzle. Hi Manel, hi Hanya, hello ladies. So just a couple of tips before I start today. If you haven't signed up for the bonus class, today is literally your last chance to sign up for it. I put the link right up here above my head. So please make sure to sign up for that if you haven't already, because as I've been telling you, the bonus class is not part of these 9-day classes, and it's not going to be here on the Facebook group. It is going to be in a separate Zoom call. And so in order for you to access that Zoom call, I'm going to give you the link for the Zoom call in an email tomorrow morning. And in order for me to do that for you, you need to be signed up in that link. So if you want to join our class tomorrow, hi Lemia, hi Josie. If you want to join that class tomorrow, how to overcome emotional eating, I do need you to sign up in that link, because I'm not sharing the link on the group at all. It's just going out in an email tomorrow, first thing in the morning, and then it will go out in another email, a reminder email before the call at 7:30 p.m. Cairo, either 7 or 7:30 p.m. Cairo time. So to access how to overcome emotional eating, your bonus class tomorrow, make sure you are signed up in that link. Let's see who's here. Sandra's here. Shaima's here. Hello, ladies. Hello, hello. Today is day 9. Today is the last day of our 9-day class. Maybe most of you have been here since day 1. I can see from all the names that have been popping up, you have literally been showing up here religiously since day 1. Some of you found out about the class later on. You know, your friends who were watching day 1 and day 2 were really excited and wanted to share this information with you. So I know some of you have been trickling in over the 9 days and maybe catching up with the replays, maybe binge watching the replays. But regardless of whether you joined us on day 1 or you've been slowly joining us, I know we have ladies who joined the group today and just started watching the classes today. Like I said, I've felt your energy, I felt your presence, I felt your readiness to finally gain control over your health, and your readiness to finally change the way that you're thinking about your health. Finally, I felt like a big sigh of relief coming at me from all of you that, oh my God, there is a solution. There is a way out of my discomfort. There is a way out of the lifetime of medication that I might be on. There is a way for me not to be stuck with all of these symptoms. And there is a way for me not to be held back from living my life the way that I want to live it. And I can feel that. And we talked about so many things in the 9 days. On day 1, that was what we focused on. We talked about how you can take back your power. We talked about why taking back your power is so important, and it's the first step to healing. If you don't quite grasp the strength of your power, you're not going to be able to follow up. You can't be swayed back and forth. Stay your course. Your health is in your hands and it's in your control and nobody else's, no matter what anybody tells you. You and you only have the power to transform your health and reverse all of your symptoms, and nobody can tell you that there's nothing that you can do about it. There's no way that anybody can tell you Well, there is a way. They might try to tell you, but it's not true. That you can't do anything about your headaches, that you can't do anything about your PMS, that you can't do anything about your migraines, about your IBS, about your liver cysts, about the nodules on your thyroid, about your fibroids, about your autoimmune, your digestive issues, your lack of energy, whatever it is that they're telling you, you just have to live with, is a lie. You can reverse every single one of those. And then on day 2, I explained, we went into a little bit of detail of what your hormones are, because if we're talking about hormones, you need to know what they actually are and how they actually function, and what are the corresponding symptoms when your hormones are imbalanced. All of those things I just mentioned, plus, you know, the heavy or irregular periods, painful periods, the PMS, the moodiness, the depression, all of those are signs that your hormones may be off. Day 3, we went through the list of foods, and we talked about the list of food and non-food triggers that can cause your hormones to get imbalanced, whether that's the wheat, the dairy, the sugar, the processed oils, the eggs, the soy, the animal protein, or all the toxins in your beauty products. We talked about all of that. And then on day 4, of course, we talked about the all-important liver, your hardest working organ, and the foods that it really needs in order to function properly, in order for it to thrive, and in order for it to serve you and clear the toxins out and then be able to reverse your symptoms. And so we said that there's no fruit and no vegetable that's off limits. Specifically for the liver loves apples, it loves bananas, it loves asparagus, it loves broccoli, cauliflower, all the greens, potatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, and all that list that I gave you. And then we had what is my favorite part of these 9-day classes is when you get to meet my clients. So we heard from Nihed, we heard from Manel, we heard from Fadwa and Marwa and Menhel and you. I mean, these ladies each had an incredible healing journey, transformational journey, and they were so generous to come in and share it with you. And I think that's a key part that you get to hear from other women. And then finally, yesterday, if you were here for yesterday's class, I gave you the all-important basic eating plan. This is the plan that you can literally, some of you could have woken up today and started to implement if you're completely serious about your health. And starting today or starting tomorrow, if you haven't seen yesterday's class, go back and watch it. You start, and as soon as you start, you are going to start shifting your hormones. You're going to start shifting the discomfort. You're going to start shifting the pain, the irregular periods, and all of it. All of it will start to shift. And today we're just wrapping it all up. I'm going to answer a few more questions. I have a few more closing notes, and we're done with our 9-day class. Let me see who's here. Dina's here, Shireen is here, Warda's here, Sharon, hello Sharon, Sharon is here. Ladies, if you have any last minute questions for me, please go ahead and start posting them. I will start answering them for you right away. As you're posting, I'm going to share 3 questions that have come up. Ladies have shared with me via email or messenger, and I think they're really important questions to share with all of you. The answers to the questions are important. One lady asked me about, she said, I just have like some constipation. That's really all I have, or that's my biggest uncomfortable symptom. Do I really have to go through this whole process just to get rid of constipation? You might think that constipation, especially those of you who have had it all their lives, and this lady has had it all her life, and she believes that it's hereditary. Everybody in her family has had it. And she believes that since it's hereditary, since everybody in her family has it, since she's had it all her life, then I've had it all my life. Why do I need to do anything drastic now to change it? When it gets really bad, I take laxatives, the laxative fix it, and I'm good to go. Let me just answer this question before I lose it. Sandra wants to know, what's your take on decaf coffee? So coffee, whether decaf or regular, is still acidic, which means, it's still going to raise the levels of acidity in your body, which raises inflammation, leads to inflammation. What we're trying to do with this process is remove the acidic foods. Inflammatory foods are acidic foods. The 2 terms are sort of interchangeable. We're trying to alkalize the body as much as possible, keep your blood level as alkaline as possible. So coffee, whether decaf or not, is still an acidic bean. It's still an acidic food. So you're still taking in something that's acidic. When it's caffeine, obviously there's an added layer of acidity, an added layer of inflammation, but you're still taking acidity in. And what we do with the process, with the liver cleanse, is remove all the acidity, as much as acidity as we can. Let me know if that answers your question. So back to my lady with the constipation. It's been there all her life. What's the big deal? I take some laxatives. Do I really have to do all of this when all I have is constipation? So many moving pieces to this question. First of all, even if constipation is in your family and you believe you've inherited it, and your mother has constipation, your father has constipation, you've literally had constipation since the day you can remember, since you were a child, doesn't mean it's okay. Constipation is a sign that one of the pieces of your digestive system is broken. So your digestive system starts with your mouth. Food goes in your mouth, goes down your esophagus, goes into your stomach, and then there's a process by which it goes through the liver, and the gallbladder is involved, the pancreas is involved, moves into your small intestine, moves into your large intestine, out of your large intestine into your colon, and out of your body. So there are steps to this process, and the glitches in the process can happen at any point along from the beginning to the end, or all along the process for some people. So constipation means actually the constipation starts with your liver. So it's not just something that happens in your large intestine, not just something that happens with your colon. It actually goes all the way back to your liver. It goes back to a congested liver. So let's say, you're going through everything and then everything stops and you can't go to the bathroom. The problem with that is that all of everything that's been moving through your intestines and is getting ready to be eliminated by your body, that's everything your body doesn't want. That's the bits and pieces of the food that the body doesn't need. That's the toxins and the pathogens and the viruses that have been released by your liver, and they move through your digestive system so they can be eliminated. So when you don't poop, when you're constipated, all of those pathogens and viruses and toxins that your body was planning on eliminating get stuck in your large intestine. They get stuck in your large intestine, and then all of those viruses and toxins and pathogens and all the things your body didn't want start to recirculate in your bloodstream again. So it's compounded. So then you have the incoming toxins that your body is currently working on, but then there's an overload of the toxins that were supposed to leave the body and didn't leave the body, and they're recirculating in your system again. So it's a compounded effect, which raises inflammation levels. And when you raise inflammation levels, you raise the risk for disease. So even though it only looks like it's just constipation right now, your levels of toxins are compounded. You are looking at potential problems down the line. So in case this applies to anybody here, you might have other symptoms, and one of them is constipation, and maybe you have other symptoms that seem to be more pressing, and you're like, okay, constipation is just, it's something I've been living with. It's not something you've been living with. It's something that has literally been wreaking havoc on your body for many, many, many years. And not just because you've had it all your life means it's okay. If you're constipated, your body has compounded toxins and pathogens and virus continuously circling through your body. And she was telling me, well, I just take laxatives every few days. When it gets really bad, I take a laxative and it's fine. I go to the bathroom. Or, I have to take a laxative, otherwise I won't be able to go to the bathroom. Well, a laxative is another toxin. And the problem with laxatives is that they train your colon to become lazy. And that's why people who are so dependent on laxatives at some point realize that they might have to increase their dose of laxatives, like the regular dose they used to take, or the frequency of laxatives that they used to take at some point increases, either the frequency or the dose, because with every dose of laxatives that you take, your colon gets more lazy. It's like, well, why should I work? I know that the body's very smart, and it remembers everything that you do, and it programs everything that you do. So the colon's like, why should I work? I know that there's a laxative coming in a few days. I don't have to do anything. And your colon actually gets more and more lazy, which again compounds the problem. So please don't just take any symptom, no matter how small you might think it is, no matter how common you think it is, and a lot of people have constipation, even if it's been with you your entire life, even if your mother has had it and you do believe it really is hereditary, you've just inherited a problem. You didn't inherit a constipation. Your mother has a problem, your grandmother, your grandfather, your father, they all had a problem, and you inherited the problem. It doesn't mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean that you do nothing about it. So that was one of the emails that came through today. So don't underestimate the power of a small symptom. When your body is showing you signs of what seems to be something minor, constant fatigue, right? That's not a huge one. It's not like diabetes, right? Or not being able to sleep, or moodiness. All of these are sort of mild symptoms that your body gives you, that the inflammation is starting to build in your body. And if you don't pay attention to the small symptoms, these are all symptoms, if left alone, are going to become the bigger symptoms in the future. So don't ignore the small symptoms, and definitely don't ignore something just because you've had it all your life and everybody in your family has had it all their lives. Constipation is a perfect example. The other question I got today was about moodiness and being moody and not understanding why all of a sudden I'm feeling fine, and then all of a sudden I just feel my mood shift and I feel my mood drop, and I can be happy or, you know, in a good mood, and then all of a sudden I'm tired or sad or cranky or irritable. The reason for that is because your serotonin, one of your major happy hormones, 80% to 90% of your serotonin is actually produced in your digestive system. It's not in your head. It's produced inside your digestive system. So when you're constantly eating foods that weaken the digestive system, or your digestive system is overburdened and there's inflammation already happening in there from all the inflammatory foods that we've talked about, then your digestive system literally cannot produce enough serotonin to keep you in a good mood, to keep you happy, to keep your moods stable. No matter what you do, no matter how much you try and will yourself to be happy, will yourself to be in a good mood, and if you take antidepressants or any kind of the medications that help, they don't actually work, because then they're an added source of toxins. They're an added source of inflammation. And what ends up happening is your body's production of serotonin gets less and less and less and less. So what needs to happen is we need to help the digestive system be able to jumpstart the production of serotonin. It's that simple. And you jumpstart your body's production of serotonin by lifting the foods that overburden the digestive system. Get the foods out that weaken your digestive system. Get the wheat out, get the dairy out, get the excessive caffeine out, get the processed foods out, get the junk out. Your body cannot produce enough serotonin, no matter how much you try and be happy. If your body's not producing enough serotonin and it produces it in your digestive system, you will not be able to be happy and upbeat and have stable moods. It just won't happen. So, and I've seen this with so many of my clients. A client of mine who was on antidepressants for 12 years, came off her antidepressants when she changed how she ate completely. You give your body a chance to jumpstart. That's the only word that I can use to describe this process. You give your liver a chance to jumpstart, your digestive system a chance to jumpstart. Everything gets jumpstarted. One of the first things you start to feel when you get into this process of eating this way is your mood improves. Your mood and your energy improve. Those are one of the first two things that start to happen. The third question I got was regarding my, yesterday, if you were watching me, and if you were listening intently, and it was Delia who noticed, I sounded like I was a bit congested. And it was because yesterday I had ice cream, and I literally had ice cream an hour before this class. And dairy is highly inflammatory, specifically mucus inducing. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had the ice cream, an hour later, I had all the mucus fill up in my throat. And then still until today, it's going to take a while to clear, maybe like a week to clear. So her question was, because I think I said something about immunity. I can't remember exactly what I said, but the link between what you're eating and immunity, and it lowers your immunity. So she wanted to know, what does this have to do with my immunity? I thought you're talking about hormones, Dana. How does immunity fit into all of this? And so I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, because it's really important. I mean, she asked this question So when one person asks a question, most probably somebody else is thinking of the same question also. So it's important for me to offer the answer to all of you. What does this have to do with your immune system? Great question. It has everything to do with your immune system. When your hormones are imbalanced, when you've got inflammation in your body, this automatically means you have an immune system that is compromised, because your immune system, again, your immune system, about 80% of your immune system is in your digestive system. Your immune system, think of it as this army of soldiers, all right? Spread out all over your body, but concentrated in your digestive system. This army is literally there to protect you, and it's been with you since the day you were born. Its job is to protect you 24/7, and you're probably not even aware of it. Its job is to protect you 24/7 from pathogens, from viruses, from bacteria, anything in the air, anything that you touch, anything that you smell, anything that you breathe, anything that goes into your body. It's also constantly clearing your own body, right? It's clearing dead cells, sick cells, dying cells, cancer cells. We all have a level of sick and dying and weak and cancer cells in our body, and our immune system is constantly flushing these out of our body, constantly trying to flush out toxins and pathogens and bacteria, and you name it. But in the same way that these immune soldiers are trained to get rid of invaders in the body, they're also trained to deal with anything that the body tags as toxic, which of course includes food. So anytime you're eating a food that is toxic to the body, wheat, dairy, sugar, processed oils, the list of foods that I've given you, your immune system has a response to that also. Anytime you're eating the foods that raise stress levels, remember how we talked about if the liver doesn't have enough of a storage, a backup of glucose, and then your body has to use cortisol to make up for that, and then the body sort of has an internal fire going on, your immune system is part of that process, and it goes in to fight with you. So all of that lowers your immune system. You don't necessarily feel this process. It's an automatic process, the same way that you don't feel when your body releases cortisol to deal with the stress from eating a donut. You don't feel it. The body is working for you all the time. But here's where it affects you. When we're living in an age of a pandemic, where there's a fear of a virus going around, this is where you have to pay attention. So if your immunity soldiers are constantly preoccupied, right? So they're dealing with your morning coffee, they're dealing with your bread and your melted cheese and the pizza and the junk, and they're dealing with your stressful feelings, and it's dealing with the toxins from your beauty products. So imagine it this way. Imagine your immunity soldiers are sort of like a wall. Just imagine them as a wall. All of these soldiers standing in a row inside you, packed. Nothing can get through this wall. But then you wake up in the morning and you start your day with coffee, which is a toxin. So one of the soldiers has to leave his post to go deal with the coffee situation. That's all right. You have a little bit of a gap inside, in the immunity wall, manageable. The other ones can sort of fill in. But then you go and have a cheese sandwich. So then two more have to go off to deal with the effects of the toxicity of your melted cheese sandwich. So then you have a little bit of a bigger gap in your immunity wall. Maybe not too bad. But then you go to work and you're tired and you're stressed and you have an argument with your boss and your body releases cortisol to deal with it. Again, immunity has to go and deal with that. And then you go and have another coffee because you've just had a really bad morning. Another immunity soldier goes off to deal with that. The gap is getting really big. And so by the time you get to lunch, who knows what you're having for lunch? Pizza, pasta, maybe you don't even have lunch, you grab a cookie, you grab some chocolate. All of those immune soldiers, one by one, are getting called out to basically deal with the toxic situation in your body, which is fine if we're not living in an age of a virus. So along comes a virus flying in the air. And by the way, there have been viruses around us for millions of years. COVID is no different than any other virus at all in the way that it tries to find a susceptible host. That's how viruses enter the body. They want to find the perfect susceptible host. And how do you become the perfect susceptible host? Your immunity soldiers are busy putting out other fires, and there's a gap right there where the virus flies right in. Super easy for the virus. So how do you build up your immunity? It's not by taking vitamin C. It's one of the things you do. It's by removing all the distractions so that your immune system can go back to the main business of fighting off true invaders, viruses and pathogens and all of that. So if you stop drinking your coffee, then that morning coffee soldier gets to stay in his place. If you stop eating the wheat and the dairy and the sugar, then those 3 soldiers get to stay in their place. You take away the junk, those 2 soldiers come back and stay in their place. So can you see how every single day you are weakening, and by weakening, I mean distracting your immune system by all of these other distractions, so that you become the perfect host. People who get sick with COVID or any other virus, it's not random. There is nothing random about it. A virus picks the perfect susceptible host. And the perfect susceptible host is the one that has a high level of inflammation in the body. And inflammation is caused by inflammatory foods, because the immune system is trying to deal with the inflammation. It's trying to deal with the inflammatory foods that you're eating every day. It's not random. So when I go and have my ice cream and have my burger, my soldiers are getting preoccupied. I'm increasing my risk for illness. I'm lowering my immunity. That's the connection. It's not exactly the subject of our 9 days. I could do a whole nother 9 days about your immune system. But what happens when you balance your hormones and you reduce inflammation, you become a strong host, not a susceptible host, a host that there's no way this virus can penetrate. If you think about all the people who have gotten sick, sadly, over the past year, they were all perfect hosts. They were all perfectly susceptible hosts. If you have any level of inflammation in your body, you are the perfect host. If you have diabetes or hypertension or cancer or heart disease or any autoimmune, your immune system is already working really, really hard. It doesn't have the time or energy to fight anything else. You are the perfect host. You're susceptible, you're weak, you've got inflammation. Anybody who's gotten sick has some level of inflammation, even if they don't have a diagnosed disease. Anybody you know, yourselves included, if you smoke, if you vape, if you love shisha, if you drink coffee every day, if you eat bread every day, if you eat cheese every day, if you consume junk, if you consume any of the foods that I've talked about, you have inflammation in your body, and that makes you a susceptible host. Your only protection is to get rid of the inflammation in your body, make sure your immune system is solid so that nothing can get through. And if something does get through, it fights it like that, because again, it's not preoccupied with other things. That's why removing inflammation is so key. And for those of you who choose to take the vaccine and you feel like, well, the vaccine is going to protect me. Number one, we know that the vaccines don't protect. All the vaccine manufacturers have stated, and they're being very transparent about it. You can find it anywhere, that you can still get the disease, you can still transmit it. Really nothing in our life is going to change because of the vaccine, because the vaccine doesn't get to your immune system. Nothing does. Only you get to your immune system. But if you choose to take the vaccine won't work as efficiently in a body that is full of inflammation. The vaccine works, it doesn't matter which one you take, there is a system where it has to trigger antibodies. That mechanism won't be triggered efficiently in a body that is fighting inflammation. It won't. So even this thing that you think you're going to take to protect you, it's not going to protect you the way that you think it's going to protect you, because you're already a susceptible, tired, inflamed host. Does that make sense, ladies? You are the only one who can protect yourself. Sadly, only about 10% of the world, roughly, is metabolically healthy, meaning they have the lowest chances of getting sick with COVID. Metabolically healthy means they don't have a single diagnosed disease and they have the lowest levels of inflammation in their body. Only about 10% of the world. I think in some places it's even less than that. So can you see why everybody's getting sick? You know, we're not all getting sick because we have this vicious virus. We're all getting sick because we have no immune systems. Our immune systems are not strong enough to fight it. And the really tragic part about that is that nobody has told us this. Where are you seeing on mainstream media? Where are you reading? Where are the doctors giving the advice that it's not about masks don't work. It's not about social distancing. It is about each person fortifying their own immune system. And you do that by lowering inflammation so that your immune system is not fighting inflammation. And then when a virus does hit, the immune system is busy and preoccupied somewhere else. It literally can't see the virus, or it can't deal with it when it enters the body. So what you're doing here is not just about getting rid of your PMS, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about in the 9 days, but it's not just about your PMS. It's not just about your heavy periods. All of those are signs of inflammation. In all cases, as women, when we are menstruating, when we're going through menstruation, our body sends our immune system to our reproductive system. And that's why you might feel sometimes during your period, maybe that's when you get more sick, is during your period. Maybe that's when you feel more tired, because the body knows how much effort it takes for us to go through our menstruation. It sends the immune system to help us during this time. So our immune system sort of gets occupied every month anyway with our menstruation. So the more that we can do, and you are the only one responsible for this. It's not anybody else's responsibility to make sure that you stay healthy. It's not anybody else's responsibility to make sure that their germs don't end up in you or that they don't contaminate you. That's your job. I told you this from day one. When I say it's your job to take back control of your health, it also means it's your job to make sure that you don't get sick by what seems to be a random virus, except it's not random at all. It's not random at all. This virus knows exactly who to choose. It chooses the weak, susceptible, inflamed hosts. So you have a much bigger responsibility towards your body than if you're thinking, oh, it's just about my period. Oh, it's just about constipation. That's not such a big deal. Oh, it's just about my energy. Well, you know, I've been living with low energy. It's not just about that. If you are living in fear because of this virus and you have never had any incentive to do anything about your health, let this be your incentive. That's how you're going to protect yourself. The only way you're going to protect ourselves. We've had an innate, robust immune system for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. We've had viruses for hundreds and thousands of years, and we've had viruses that mutate. Of course it's going to mutate. That's what viruses do. It's not a surprise that this virus mutated. Anybody could have told you that it's going to mutate and that it's still going to mutate. The only thing that we can do is become a host that is impenetrable. And that if it does find its way in, it's easy peasy. You don't feel it. Like Nihed, my client, right? She got COVID. She said it was nothing. So if you are trying to reconcile this potential new lifestyle and trying to make sense of it and trying to see if it's even worth it, if nothing else has grabbed your attention, let this grab your attention. And I'm sharing this with you, like I said, because I had a question today and I thought, right, this is an important point to bring up also. Let me know if you have any questions about this, ladies. Dina, if we maintain an alkaline diet, shouldn't the stomach be acidic to be able to digest the food? Exactly, Dina. That's why I said we maintain an alkaline blood level. That we never alkalize the stomach. The stomach is always acidic. That's not what we're trying to alkaline, and it will never alkaline. What you're trying to keep alkaline are your blood levels. The stomach will always be acidic. It has to be acidic to break down food. That's not what we're trying to alkalize. Mona says, it makes sense. Oh, good. I'm glad it makes sense. Any other questions or comments for me about this, ladies, before we wrap up day 9? You know that there's, right now, I've done my job. I've done my job, ladies. You literally have no excuse not to work on your health. I have given you every single reason. I have given you as much information and as many tools that I can in these 9 days, including a basic plan from yesterday. There are no quick fixes. There are no quick fixes. For those of you who are thinking, oh, this is going to take a while. Yeah, it will take a while. You know, if you're in your 40s and you are looking at things and symptoms potentially that you have been dealing with for 5, 10, 15 years, it's not going to take you 5 or 10, 15 years to reverse. I promise you that. But it could take a few months. And when you think about it relative to how long you've been dealing with your symptoms, that's a pretty short time. Manel, what about calcium, minerals, body needs plus energy? You get all of that. Calcium, you need, I don't know if you saw my episode on cows, Manel, we can never live without calcium, but we don't need it from dairy, right? You get calcium in every single dark leafy green. Every single dark leafy green has calcium. Sesame seeds have calcium. Chicken broth has calcium. Molokhia has calcium. And minerals only come from fruits and vegetables, right? All the vitamins and all the minerals and all the live vitamins and minerals, all the energy, your body needs glucose for energy, that only comes from fruits, doesn't come from anything else. So when you switch this way of eating, you're going to have more energy than you've ever believed and more sources of calcium than just one source, which is dairy. Iman, what's the duration expected to do that? So healing is not a linear process. It's not like you start today and you keep going in a straight line until you reach your destination. It is a back and forth process. So some days it's going to be a few steps forward, then maybe a step backward, then a few more steps forward, then a step backward. For some people, they're going to heal in 6 weeks. For some people, they're going to heal in 6 months. There's no way of knowing. Every body is different. Every history is different. The only thing we know for sure is that when you follow the healing protocol, you will heal. In exactly how long, there's no way I could ever tell anybody exactly how long. But like you saw from the ladies in the program, it was gradual. So by the time they finished level 2, most of their major symptoms had disappeared. So that would be 20 weeks, so 5 months, so 5 to 6 months. Along the way, you're going to see improvement. So it's not like you have your symptoms, you keep doing it, nothing happens, and all of a sudden at 6 months you feel better. Along the way, you are seeing small improvements, incremental changes. Farah, what's your take on homeopathic remedies? So I'm not well versed on homeopathic remedies per se, so I couldn't tell you, for example, what remedy to take for what, but any remedy that supports the body's natural healing, by all means. But homeopathic remedies, just like supplements, just like herbs, just like essential oils, they need to work with a strong foundation. They work best with a strong nutritional foundation. They're not just going to work on their own and you do nothing with your nutrition. Or they'll work, but like I said, not as effectively, but definitely they are one of the supplemental protocols. Iman, is duration impacted by age? Potentially, yes, potentially. If somebody is in their 20s and they're fighting some of these symptoms, it will take them shorter time simply because their body hasn't been dealing with the symptoms for as long as somebody who has in their 40s. That's it. It might or it might not. Again, there is no exact way of predicting this. And then it says, thanks, you're welcome. Josie, how do you feel about steamed veggies? Is there a loss of properties? So anytime you add heat to food, you are losing some properties, because especially when we're talking about live vitamins and live minerals, they're alive when that food is raw. As soon as you add any kind of heat, you start to lose. Having said that, one of the best ways to maintain as much of the minerals and the vitamins as possible is steaming, followed by a quick boil, followed by roasting. Iman, how, if it's so obvious, which I think any doctor should know that, how doctors ignore it? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Iman, but I think this is how I'm understanding your questions. Doctors don't ignore it. Doctors are not taught that there is a way to heal. Doctors are simply taught, and I know this might be really hard to conceptualize, but they're literally only taught that here is, you have this symptom, then here, the corresponding treatment is this blue pill. You have this symptom, okay, then the corresponding treatment is the yellow pill. That's how it's taught in medical school. My father is a doctor. They did not learn about nutrition. They did not learn about how nutrition creates inflammation in the body and how inflammation leads to chronic disease. They did not learn that. They did not learn about inflammatory foods. So they did not learn that wheat is inflammatory, dairy is inflammatory, none of it. They did not learn any of that. They have a symptom and a corresponding pharmaceutical drug to suppress the symptoms of this symptom. Nothing that gets to the root cause. And there's a branch of medicine now called functional medicine that are starting to approach this whole thing completely differently, where they are looking at nutrition, they are looking at the root causes, they will ask you to change how you eat before they give you medicine. But conventional doctors, it's not their fault. They just didn't learn it that way at all. I mean, here's a perfect example of this. I don't know to what extent you all follow vaccine information, vaccine propaganda. In the US now, as an incentive to get people to go and get vaccinated, Krispy Kreme donuts, if you all know Krispy Kreme donuts, like Dunkin' Donuts, you know, a junk, sugar-filled, wheat-filled, highly inflammatory donuts, Krispy Kreme, they are offering anybody who gets vaccinated a free donut. So you take your vaccination card, and for every single day, I don't know for how long, at least for the next year, I think, you get a free Krispy Kreme donut. And there are doctors, there was a pediatrician specifically who tweeted and said, what's wrong with that? Krispy Kreme is not a bad food to take. And if that's what it takes to get people vaccinated, then please give out free Krispy Kreme donuts to everybody who gets vaccinated. So they are incentivizing vaccination by giving them Krispy Kreme donuts, right? So what do? They keep you sick. Basically, you have to go back and take the medicine. They keep you sick by, I mean, just, you know, when this whole COVID crazy thing happened last year and everything shut down, the whole world shut down, and they shut down businesses and restaurants and schools and everything shut down. They didn't shut down liquor stores. They didn't shut down junk food factories. They didn't shut down cigarette factories, right? They didn't shut down the Pepsi and Coke factories. I mean, if they can shut down all of those, like the whole world, they could have shut down those industries also, but they weren't. So it's not about health, unfortunately. And this is like I said, this is another 9-day class just on that. So this is another reason why you have to take back control of your health, because the doctors just don't know. And a lot of the doctors, unfortunately, when you go in and mention nutrition, like I told you yesterday, if your doctor if he's not one of those doctors who is slowly getting on board, doing his homework, truly working to do no harm, which is one of the oaths that they have to take, and he's not looking into nutrition, you need to find a doctor who is shifting, who is considering nutrition. Because for them to tell us that the food that goes down your throat has no effect on your health, but the pill that also goes down your throat does, at this point in time, I mean, I'm not dumb, right? Talk to me differently. Tell me something I can actually make sense of. That doesn't make any sense to me. So it's your job to completely take back control of your health. Amen. Exactly. The target is to keep the sickness. Of course. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. If, you know, I'm just one health coach, right? And I help, I want to say 1,000 women a year. At least 1,000 women a year come off at least basic medications. They stop taking Panadol, they stop taking PMS, you know, medication, they stop taking laxatives, like basics. And I'm one health coach. And there are like 200, 300, 400, 500,000 health coaches or natural practitioners in the world. And we're all helping our small communities get off medication. Can you imagine the impact if everybody in the world stopped buying just Panadol? Let's not even get into the billion-dollar, you know, chemotherapy industry. Like I said, ladies, this is a whole another 9-day class. When we start taking back control of our health, when you slowly start to eliminate one medicine and then 2 medicines and 3 medicines and 4 medicines, they lose their power. So you have to take back your power first, right? You have to become healthy the natural way. Josie, the more unhealthy we are, the more money corporations make, unfortunately, right? Sad, but unfortunately very, very true. Amen. That means also how agriculture, exactly. So it is sort of a trifecta of power. It is the pharmaceutical industry, the medical industry, and the food industry. And it's a little bit shocking how medicine and pharmacies are industries. They're industries, and they are definitely in cahoots together. It is the food industries that fund the research of the pharmaceutical and medical industries. I mean, the very well-known example, I think it was either Pepsi or Coke that funded the research to say that sugar is great. Sugar is healthy. There's nothing wrong with sugar, and drinking Pepsi and drinking Coke is perfectly fine. They funded that research. So you have to, as they say, follow the money. Always, always follow the money. All right, with you ladies, we're not going to follow the money because you have the power in your hands. And you are thinking about your future self that we talked about yesterday. And you are thinking about her. Is she going to be a victim of the pharmaceutical industry? Are you going to become another statistic where you are stuck taking medicine every single day, whether for diabetes or cholesterol or hypertension or joint pain, or autoimmune, or cancer, or Alzheimer's, or dementia, right? Are you sick and tired and old and aging and unable to sleep and dependent on everyone around you for all your needs? That is one option. And that option of you, that option of your future self is going to happen unless you decide the other version of your future self is the one that you want. The one where you're vibrant, energetic, not dependent on the pharmaceutical industry just to keep you, barely making it every single day. You're pain-free, you're sleeping deeply, you're disease-free, you're loving that new phase of your life with your family, with your loved ones. Maybe you're a grandmother, whatever it is you feel like doing, you're going to get to do. But you have to make the choice. I would love to be able to make this choice for you. You know what I would choose for every single one of you. So think about your future self and what kind of decisions is she going to make today? All of us sort of have this light bulb moment when we think about our future self. I never thought about my future self like when I first heard that term. My future self? Okay, my future self, oh wow. And when that realization dawned on me that I had to make decisions today from where I wanted to be versus where I'd been before or where I was right now, that's when my life changed. You can't make a decision from where you are right now. It won't get you anywhere. Your decision has to be based on your future self and definitely not based on who you were before. When that happens, you realize to what extent you are responsible for your health. You are the one responsible for your happiness. You are the only one responsible for your results. And you apply that then to every part of your life. So not just your health. And you literally start to think better and know better. And so every single decision you start to make is about, right, so where do I want to be 5 or 10 years from now? Whether in my health or my career or my relationship. And you realize that in order to get to that goal, things have to change now. And you're the only one responsible for it. You're the only one who can decide on the change and implement the change. You're the only one. And when that happens, you realize it's this like incredible world that just opens up for you. You realize that from then on, you're only available for those experiences that help you get to your future self. It becomes so easy to say no to things that are just not serving you anymore. No to the unhealthy food, no to the people who don't respect me, no to those family and friends who, just show up when it's good for them, but it's not good for me. Everything becomes very clear when you are clear about how you want to move forward with your life. You need to make the right decisions, and you need to make them for yourself right now, not from the past, from your future self, and you make the changes right now. All right, ladies, who is with me? Who is ready? Because the reality is, when I say that it's not easy, but it's worth it, because both decisions carry a level of difficulty with them. Both of them do. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't. They both carry a level of difficulty. It's hard. It's hard to live. If you feel like you just can't make this change, then you're going to live with these symptoms, and that's hard. It is really hard. You're going to live with pain. You're going to live with debilitating symptoms, and you're just going to go through the traditional way of getting older. And that's hard. That's hard. It's really, really hard to do that. But if you decide to do the other way, and and it's shocking, right? You're going to shock your body, and you're going to shock your system, and you're going to shock your entire life with a new way of eating and a new way of living. It's also going to be hard because it's a huge change. Your mind's going to fight you. People around you are going to fight you. Your habits are going to fight you. It's going to be hard. But here's the thing. They're both hard. But with one decision of living with something that's really hard and challenging, it's only going to keep getting harder and more harder and more harder. And you're going to continue to suffer. That's the end result of one decision. With this decision, yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be challenging. But the end of it, you're pain-free. The end of it, you're not suffering anymore. With one, you suffer. With one, you don't suffer anymore at the end. They're both hard. So you get to choose which kind of hard you want to live with. The one where eventually things get even harder and harder and harder and more painful, or the one where it's just hard for a little bit, and at the end of it, you're full of energy, you're vibrant, you're disease-free, you wake up ready to take on your day, you don't think about your period every month, you don't have to take your autoimmune medications anymore, you don't have to take your diabetes medication anymore, you have focus, you have willpower, you have a clear vision of yourself, you have clear goals that you follow, and of course, where you get help. So if you decide to go this route, where you do nothing, really nobody's going to help you. At best, you're just going to keep taking more medications. Your doctor will give you more and more medications. With this choice, you get to have me with you step by step to help you get there. It might be challenging, it might be hard, but it's simple, and you won't be confused and you won't be overwhelmed. And that's what I've been trying to tell you over and over and over and over. Over and over. You get the support, because changing your health and such an incredible transformation in your health is a combination of things. It's not just a meal plan. It's not just going to a dietitian and saying, here, give me this little piece of paper that I'm going to stick on my refrigerator and I'm going to follow it every day. Those don't work. We know they don't work because you and I have both tried them for the past 20 years over and over and over and over. They don't work. True success in your health needs mindset, first and foremost. It needs the right plan that teaches you, doesn't just tell you. You need the right structure, you need the right support, and you need to take action. You can't do one without the other. You need all of those. You need all of those together. And you want to be doing all of these things together simultaneously. Simultaneously together. I'm doing this, I'm taking the action, I'm working on my mindset, I have the plan, I have the support, I have the guidance. I'm working on my mindset, I have the support, I have the guidance, I have the plan, I have the structure, all of it simultaneously, because this is a huge transformation that is going to completely change your life. And that's your main priority. You is to take back control of your health, take back control of your life, and show up as the best version of yourself every single day. Every single day. That's your responsibility. So the Hormone Reset program is going to be a commitment for sure. It's going to be a time commitment. It's going to be a financial commitment. It's going to teach you all the knowledge and the skills that you need to finally rebalance your health and rebalance your mindset. It is going to be about taking action. It's not just about you sitting back, watching me every week in a video, kind of like reading through the modules. It is about taking action, it is about implementation, and it is about getting unstuck. So let your future self decide, ladies. We start April 4th. And like I told you, it's a special Ramadan edition. So you're not removing coffee next week. You're not removing any of your favorite foods next week. We never start with nutrition anyway, whether it's Ramadan or not. We always take 2 weeks to build a strong foundation that is about your mindset and about your emotions, and then we get into the nutrition. So the bonus for this time is you will get a Ramadan meal plan. It is not a strict liver cleanse. We do the strict liver cleanse after Ramadan and after the Eid. So from now until then, you are going to learn mindset tools. You're going to learn self-care tools. I'm going to teach you how to journal. You heard all the ladies talk about journaling. I'm going to teach you how to declutter your mind and your space. And you will get a very general clean eating plan for Ramadan that is flexible. You get to choose to what extent you want to follow it. You want to follow it 50%. You want to follow it 100%. I'm not going to require you to fulfill the Ramadan eating plan. I will definitely require you to follow the liver cleanse that happens after that. So if at any level you're afraid because you feel like April 4th, your entire life is gonna change, yes, it will. April 4th, that will be the beginning of your entire life changing, but you are not doing anything to your nutrition on April 4th, if that helps to ease any of your discomfort. All right, ladies, the link is up here. Sign up. You can either pay in full, $497, or make 2 payments of $298, or make 4 payments of $150. And if you need an easier payment plan, let me know. Yes, you can pay in Egyptian pounds. Yes, you can make a bank transfer. If you don't want to pay by credit card, please email me and let me know. We start April 4th. Sign up in the link up above. If you have any questions at all, like you are just one step away from signing up and you just need something to be cleared up for you, also send me a message. We'll set up a time to chat. And remember to sign up for the bonus class. The bonus class is tomorrow. I have both links up here, the link for the hormone reset program and the link for the bonus class, because this is your last chance to sign up for the bonus class, ladies. If you want to attend tomorrow's bonus class, how to overcome emotional eating, you need to sign up. All right, be sure you're signed up for that. And finally, ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up for you. Thank you for prioritizing you. Thank you for taking care of you. Thank you for joining me for these 9 days. It has been an absolute pleasure and absolute honor, and I absolutely cannot wait to help each and every single one of you transform her health in my hormone reset program. Click on the link, join us. I am going to announce a special surprise also in tomorrow's bonus class, which you don't want to miss. And I will see you all again tomorrow, same time, same place, for our special bonus class. And until another 9-day class, thank you, ladies. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.